and welcome to When I'm High, a podcast about what it's like to be high on marijuana. As you probably saw in the title, this week's episode is about sex and how it changes, or not, while people are high. Of course, we had to talk about sex. Just like food and music and movies, sex often plays a pretty big part in people's lives. And yeah, it's a very intimate subject. It's probably unnecessary for me to even say this, but this episode does get a little bit graphic a couple of times. Enjoy!
What is sex like stoned? It's good.
Yeah, sex doesn't usually happen when I'm stoned. That's how it affects my sex life.
Sex while high is the greatest thing ever.
It was kind of like the way that pizza tasted better.
Like, kissing is the best.
I think that's one of those things that if it's good, it's always good.
I smile saying pizza because I once heard somebody say that sex is like pizza. Like, when it's good, and when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Skin is awesome.
Sex is good, however.
Oh, and the physical feelings, to be very, blunt, feels good when the penis enters the vagina. Well, there's just more sensation there. That felt better, throughout. And then even, the feeling, of, the emotions and the connectedness that you're having, with another person. If you were to change your focus to that felt better. That felt more profound.
You are engaged in an activity that has propagated the entire species from the beginning of recorded time. So you almost feel like the act of sex itself, you're part of the whole thing.
If you're with someone who doesn't care about you being high, then I think you're okay. I think that you can't be too high because you go to that introspective place. If your partner is high, then you can go there together, and I think it's a great thing.
On the individual level, the person for whom I'm with, I get real engaged. I just want to be there. I super want to be there.
I think it's just a time and place kind of thing. So I think for sex, it does, it can change things. It can make it kind of suck if it's not done right.
If I'm going to have sex on something, I think I prefer to be drunk and have sex than stoned, because there are many times that I end up being kind of lazy while I'm stoned. And so just the idea of sex seems like too much work.
If it's not a situation where you're very comfortable, you're having sex for the first time with that person or something, that it can lead to paranoia or being focused on certain things, but then not focused on others, so you can overlook things.
I think if the other person doesn't like to smoke weed, I think it can be not as passionate. It's not as good. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like I don't know. Just didn't it's unsatisfying almost. You didn't get that. It's not the orgasm that I want so much as that connection, And if the other person is not on the same page as you are, there's not going to be that connection.
Sometimes I like to get high to have sex because it's amazing. And in fact, I never achieved an orgasm until I started getting high.
The difference I noticed was the climax. Everything else felt good, but when does it not?
Our bodies have transcended into the spiritual realm, where it's been two energies making love, and the orgasms have been earth-shattering.
I love it both ways, but I absolutely feel completely privileged to be a person who is having sex, regardless of when it happens. But when I'm high, I'm like, this is awesome. This is the best. You know what I mean? Again, that comes out whoa, right? Yeah, okay.
I like how with this topic in particular, you get a wide range of responses from people. On one side of the spectrum, you have people talking about the physical feeling of sex when high, and then on the other side, there are people talking about the mental or even spiritual effects of having sex while high. It's a really fascinating dichotomy with this topic especially. So that's it for this week's extremely sexy episode. Thank you for listening, and if you are so inclined, please rate and review on whatever platform you are listening on. A share goes a long way too. In next week's episode, we will be talking about how cannabis affects people's sober life, if at all, when they're high.